It's Quinn's Wins.
Here's the deal. A lot of people, when they're making their picks, especially some of the experts and so forth, they want to stay away from the big games, the big boys. You know why? There's just too much on the line. Too hard to predict what's going to happen, how things are going to go. I'm not scared of that, all right? That's what you're going to watch. That's what I want to pick. So ride along with me if you want. If not, fade me. We'll see how it works out for you. We're starting off with the biggest game of the weekend in Columbus, Ohio. The Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the number 1 ranked Texas Longhorns, led by the one and only Arch Manning. Now, this entire game is going to be billed all about the quarterback play. And don't get me wrong, that's going to be a big piece of it. Arch Manning, he carries the last name. Does he have the game? I do think he does. However, there's some concerns there. The offensive line, they're returning only one starter from last season. Now, some of those guys have some experience, but that's a really tough environment to go into. 100,000 plus, screaming their heads off, and against that defense. So it could be a low-risk scoring affair. I actually love the under in this game for the reason of both quarterbacks being so inexperienced. Julian Saint on the other side, his first start. And you go back to their last matchup in the semifinal game. Pete Kwiatkowski, the defensive coordinator for Texas, played a lot of cover two. Didn't want to get beat for any big plays. Texas defense was really good, not allowing big plays last year. So, if anything, play the under in this game of, I believe it was at 46.5. Jonas, keep me honest, last time I checked.
47.5 on DraftKings.
47.5. Oh, it depends on the book, because I'm looking at something else right now. It's still got a 46. So I'll gladly take it.
Hell yeah.
At 47.
Quinn's Wins.
You'll be a winner.
Next up, pick for the game. Some people, again, they don't like the pick. They don't like the number sitting here. It's 1.5 where I've got it. Jonas, you probably have it at, 2.5 in your book?
The game line on Texas Ohio State?
I've got it at 1.5 right now.
I've got it at
the
a
books
half.
I'm looking
I've got it at Ohio State -0.5.
What books are you looking at?
DraftKings. Our friends at DraftKings. What do you mean?
I love it. I'll lay the half point then. Go ahead. So where are we at now? We got 47.5 and we're at a half?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I'll gladly lay the half point with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Basically a pick 'em there. And this is why. There's a lot of change in the staffs. Matt Patricia comes in as defensive coordinator. Obviously, most remember him for his head coach in the NFL. Good defensive mind. I think he's going to get the defense playing at a high level. They lost some pieces. There's some concern there, but they also have a lot of guys coming back. Caleb Downs is arguably the best defensive player in the country. You got Sonny Styles. You got Arvell Reese. Kenyatta Jackson off the edge. There's a lot of stud players on this defense still. So I think they'll be able to figure it out. I think on offense, too, this is a game where Julian Saint last year got to watch how Will Howard handled things versus Texas. But the truth of the matter is, Julian Saint was a highly touted recruit. He can spit the football around, and you're going to see a coming out party for Carnell Tate as the number 2 wide receiver in this, Brandon Enos as well, and then Max Clare, the tight end that transferred in from Purdue. He's going to be a big-time target for them. So I like the Buckeyes, 100,000 plus at home, taking care of business versus Texas.
Ooh. Wins.
All right, 2 more to go to. We've got Alabama laying 13.5. That's a big number opening the season versus Florida State. Although we've seen the recent struggles of Florida State. They've tried to go to the transfer portal a number of times. And by the way, Jonas, is it still at 13.5 on DraftKings?
Showing Alabama -14 there, Brady.
There we go. We'll just go ahead and make it an even number. But I'm going to lay the 14 points here. Ty Simpson takes over. The former 5-star, highly touted quarterback has waited his turn there at Alabama. Now, they are going to be without Jam Miller, running back. That hurts. However, I don't have any faith whatsoever in where Florida State is at under Mike Norvell. This is a team that at one point we were talking about them maybe should be part of the college football playoff, and they've dropped off significantly since then. I think in Kalen DeBoer's year 2, you see this team take care of business, be one of the top teams in the SEC, and get off to a big start. You lay the 14 points, even though Alabama's on the road in Doak Campbell.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Wins.
All right, last up. Fade 'em. My Fighting Irish headed to South Florida to take on the Miami Hurricanes. Now, this has not been a place where Notre Dame has been able to win historically. And typically, I would make a play on the spread in this game. However, I think it's going to be more of a low-scoring affair. So I love the under in this one. Again, Jonas, I've got it at 49.5. What do you have it at?
That's correct, sir.
Oh, there we go. We got
on
one.
DraftKings.
We got one, finally. I like the under of this game. Here's why. Marcus Freeman has a trend of playing more of this, kind of shorten the game, run the football, tighter early games throughout his tenure so far as head coach. Notre Dame is led by its defense. A lot of guys coming back from last year. The only question there, Chris Ash taking over as defensive coordinator. What changes, if any, does that have on this team? But the Notre Dame defense will keep this a low-scoring affair. The strength of Notre Dame's offense is obviously their ability to run the football. When you have Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, and E.S. Williams, too, in the backfield, you've got a stable of backs now that are very capable, too, of churning up some yards, but churning up that clock. So from Notre Dame's standpoint, they're not going to put too much on C.J. Carr's shoulders. He's going to have to step up at times. But to me, it's going to be a defensive battle, a battle for the line of scrimmage in the running game. On the other side, Miami was atrocious last year on defense. They were able to answer that by way of the transfer portal. They got 5 new starters on defense, all transfer portal players. There's a number of new starters, too, on Miami's offense that are also transfer portal players. Most importantly, Carson Beck, their quarterback. Didn't have a great season last year at Georgia. You can chalk that up for whatever you want to. But I'll be curious to see how he comes along versus this Notre Dame defense. Their first game of the season, first time out there playing with a lot of guys he's throwing to. There could be some inconsistencies, and especially if he gets pressure. We saw that last year, really struggled under that. So this, to me, is one of those grinded out defensive battles, low-scoring affairs. Play the under of 49.5.
There we go.
Quinn's wins.
You'll be a winner.